What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 71 of my Total Warhammer 3 Boris Ursus and Zanaviev campaign. So as you saw last time, an episode focused on Beledna the Defender, who lived up to her name yet again by defending Erengrad. I guess she's the defender of the great cities of Kislev, because she spent a lot of time defending Prague and now Erengrad from tons and tons of ogre armies, which is pretty fun. I like how our all of our lords essentially are living up to different sort of legends for themselves and doing very different things, and I appreciate that. Anyway, Beledna is now done with Prague, or Erengrad rather, for at least a little while, and is going to be proceeding to try to relieve Bolgasgrad from the siege of Jared. Actually, speaking of Jared, I took a look at this army belonging to Ungrim, and frickin' look at this. Look at the ridiculous number of giant slayers in here. I'd actually be really curious to see what kind of ogre stack, like what if like it was a stack on stack, full stack on full stack battle, what kind of ogre stack would be able to beat this? Like, in terms of melee, I doubt that a full stack of man-eaters could really stand up to this. Maybe a full line of man-eaters with ogre pistols might be able to do enough damage to the enemy while they approached, in combination with a decent amount of iron blasters and stuff once the enemy bunched up and into blobs, plus lots of casts. I mean, the Giant Slayers, while they do have spell resist that's 25%, their armor's still 0, and a lot of burning heads and flocks of doom and stuff would probably do quite a lot of damage to them. Still, a very interesting army, and once again showing us that Ungrim is really specializing for fighting those ogres. Anyway, I digress, because this episode is not about all that. Nothing that happens in the mortal realm matters today. What happens in the realm of Tzeentch does, for it is time for Boris to hit the impossible fortress, and then we'll be on par with the Exiles of Khorne in terms of having our fourth soul. I'm hoping that I'm correct in my understanding of this, and that the enemy can't actually go to the Forge of Souls once the rifts are gone. I'm hoping, but I guess we'll find out. I actually don't know what it'll do if I'm wrong about this. Well, we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. In the meantime, this is going to be a big old cinematic battle, and since it is the Librarian, the realm of Tzeentch, it's going to be the hardest one, which is appropriate since we left it to last. So I'm hoping for a pretty fun fight. I've definitely by far taken the most losses on the Tzeentch battles as compared to all of the others and all the other campaigns. So I do expect a similar sort of level of difficulty here. Let's get to it.
The impossible fortress, impregnable to all but the insane. To enter the fortress unbidden would be a mistake, but piercing its defenses will suffice to summon the wrath of the Librarian. Control the crystal of lore in the labyrinth. This will give you a foothold and grant us supplies to reinforce for the struggle ahead. There are 2 other crystals you will need to capture, and so dominate the battle. Confound the Great Changer. Refuse to play the part he has written for you, and destroy all who get in your way.
All Kislevites are born with the strength of bears. Prove it!
Alrighty, well, prove it we shall. So I've done this battle quite a few times at this point, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that you don't let the ranged Tzeentchian forces, engage you at range, which means, camping the gates at every single location and not letting them, fire at you, which we are pretty well equipped, I think, to do. In fact, just to speed this up a little bit, I'm only going to send a few units into the center here, namely the heavy war sleds, Boris, and maybe a couple units of Warbear Riders, while everybody else takes position at the appropriate locations. Mostly because A, it'll speed it up, but B, once you've actually captured the crystals, it really doesn't take that long for the enemy to get on the field. So I'd really prefer to have everybody in the proper positions. Looks like the Screamers are going to try to stop our war sleds. Fortunately, we do have the mass to continue moving through them, even though they are still being attacked as that happens. But still, good job. Nice use of those Screamers by the AI rather than going after Boris with them, because Boris, well, let's face it, wouldn't have taken too much damage from them, and they're a lot more threatening to the War Sled. War Sleds are going to push on through and trying to get these Exalted Pink Horrors. These are regular Pink Horrors. No, they are Exalted Pink Horrors. Tied up and unable to fire. The plan is already coming together. And there we go, just gonna move a few units of Warbear Riders. These guys were on the way to the side of the map anyway, so they can quickly stop on by if they can get past the Screamers here. And destroy the rest of these Pink Horrors. I mean, while the War Sleds can certainly destroy them themselves, it'll take them a lot longer, so we might as well commit these guys. At least this way we will not have to heal the War Sleds either. Plus, otherwise, we'd probably have to use some of our money to get the ammunition back up on the War Sleds. And there we go. I noticed that the bears on the War Sleds are a slightly... maybe they're... They really pick specific bears with specific kinds of coats. These ones are more beige looking, and these ones are more white looking. Interesting. I wonder if there's some kind of difference or no. It's not like we can see the stats of the individual bears on those war sets, but anyway, I digress as I tend to do. Looks like the crystal is nearly ours. 1 unit of Screamers left and the bare remnants of 1 Exalted Pink Horde, which is melting. Everybody else is pretty much in position, with the exception of these 2 locations, which are going to be filled up by bears shortly. And otherwise, I guess we're going to speed this up and go to wave 1. Might take a few extra seconds, actually. And okay, we're gonna summon some units. Ooh, yes, a couple Streltsy and I believe a unit of armored Kossars with great weapons as well. Fairly needed right now. The thing is, other than our heavy war sleds, our little Groms are the only ranged unit we have. And I don't like to use the little Groms in this particular position because they would most likely be firing at our own units, or at least clipping our own units as they fired on the enemy. So I'd really rather get those Streltsy. And considering the fact that we have almost no range, we do really need them. Alrighty, looks like the enemy is on the field and it's time to begin wave 1. I've also built the... Ooh, gotta love the impossible fortress in the distance, though. I've also built the piercing towers. As usual, we can see them knocking Screamers out of the sky. Alrighty, Screamers versus Warbear Riders. Even though both units are anti-large, this is a terrible matchup for the Screamers. Even unbuffed, I don't think they would, the Warbear Riders have too much trouble with a single set of Screamers. Let's see where the biggest of the fights are. Honestly, they're pretty even. The enemy's obviously having a bad time, because once again, they cannot really engage us. Oh, looks like these guys might be having a little bit of a difficult time, and Boris is here. I guess it's because I sent Boris here and only with 1 unit, and ooh, looks like one of the bears got killed by a concentrated attack by an Exalted Flamer and a regular Flamer, so we're going to try to charge them and try to engage them. Even going to summon an Elemental Bear right on top of them. Honestly, not much to say on this one. We're just going to be guarding the gates for a while until we get to the final point, but it's always fun to watch a bear's wrecked face. Alrighty, and what are we at here? Wave 1 is down to 50%, and these guys are still holding. Boris is doing a sort of little mini duel with this Exalted Flamer, insofar as you can call it a duel, because that thing obviously has no chance whatsoever. I kind of like it. I like its melee attack. No, I want to... Yeah, Boris can be staggered by that, it looks like. Alrighty, and you're trying to run away and you're very badly hurt. Well, a couple more hits will finish you off. Over here, these units are in pretty bad shape as well. Our war sleds are now working over on this side because a few Forsaken units and some blue horrors have decided to charge out of the gate and ignore the units that were guarding them. But otherwise, I don't see too much of this being problematic. I think everybody here is already dead, and the same thing is going on over here. Yeah, these guys had absolutely no chance. Basically, nobody was able to break through this one unit, mostly because I think fewer units come from this direction of the Infinite Labyrinth, or the Crystal Labyrinth. I never remember which one it is. I feel like it's Infinite Labyrinth, but I could be wrong. Crystal Labyrinth? Damn it. Maybe it's both, and maybe it's neither. That's Tzeentch, baby. Just amusing myself here. Oh, look, another unit of Forsaken have spawned. That's cute. And that's cute, but with like 1 or 2% probably remaining on the enemy wave, this portion of the battle should be ours, and then we can proceed to the next place. Warbear Riders and War Sleds sandwiching those Forsaken of Tzeentch. That they're wishing they were Forsaken of Slaanesh right now. And hey, Boris has come to join the fray. And bringing a few more Warbear Riders with him as well. I'm willing to bet that at least one of the mods is probably going to add another type of Warbear Rider, like an anti-infantry one that isn't anti-large. Maybe that one that has swords. Ooh, imagine if they had like... yeah, I mean, you could give them the Zargard swords. It wouldn't be that difficult, I think. Yeah, I mean, because lots and lots of units have just basically 2 varieties. Like, think of Minotaurs of Khorne, right? You have the Great Weapon ones, which are anti-large, and then you have the regular ones, which have dual axes and are anti-infantry. Anyway, looks like we're gonna have to head towards the second crystal, and by head towards it, I mean move up our units of little Groms and start firing at them until they get enough shots at them to get annoyed and come at us instead. We're going to be maybe bringing down a few of these Screamers, and it looks like they've been sufficiently annoyed. Also going to get the rest of our units waiting here. Might as well watch them come in from this direction. And where are those little Groms? Love watching the cannons fire. Alright, everybody move in, set up. Let's get the Streltsy as well as the Armored Cossars up front so that they can apply their range damage. And I mean, we could have just sent the Warbear Riders and the War Sleds forward to kill everything. The reason I wanted to do this was otherwise the little Groms wouldn't be able to play at all in this particular battle, and well, I'm not into that. I want them to have some fun as well. Looks like they've nearly brought down, this Screamer unit. Rest of our units are still moving, and especially the Zargard. They're taking a while to get here, but you know, there are a bunch of them at the edges of the edge of the map. And there we go, moving into the line of Streltsy and the Armored Cossars. Let's see if those Screamers breach our lines, and ooh, even getting some support from those armor-piercing towers, or just piercing towers in general. And the little Groms knocking them down as well. Very, very nice. Alrighty, looks like those Screamers are just about done for, and they failed at getting close to us. Boris has also countercharged all the enemy pink cores here, so they're not going to engage in combat, and we should be able to charge them with our Warbears, who are on the way right now. Alright, try not to shoot too many Warbears there, Streltsy. It's not why we brought you. Yeah, absolute slaughter. I'm really interested in playing this particular battle as the Nurgle faction, like as Kugath. And the fact is, the Nurgle faction is so slow, and the enemy has range all over the place. That would make it probably considerably more difficult. Which is exciting to me. I do wonder how effective the Nurgle towers, though, are. I'll probably be doing a Nurgle SFO run reasonably shortly. Or at least I'm thinking about it, we'll see. Probably gonna put it to a vote, as I tend to do. But, you know, we can't do Scarbrand until there's blood, and I think there's also been comments to that effect, and I completely agree. To do Khorne and not to have the blood effects, it just feels wrong on many levels. I'd feel bad for all the little bloodthirsters, thirsting for that blood and unable to get any. Alrighty, Warbear Rider is absolutely destroying those pink cores, and I do believe we're good here. And now we are going to proceed to the second crystal, or rather we're going to proceed to all the entrances, and then go to the second crystal afterwards. So we're not going to capture it immediately, well, with the exception of the little Groms. Okay, I lied, we captured it immediately. But to be fair, we did run into most locations fairly quickly. This time, we're going to set up most of our infantry in one location, both of our heroes, together with the Zargard, and the Streltsy, and the heavy war sleds. And the reason I wanted to do this was because these guys would take ages to go over to this side, like these guys are currently doing, the armored Kossars, and I'd rather have the Warbear Riders deal with that issue for us. Plus, we can watch these guys fight, and sometimes, to be honest, the infantry are really fun to watch. Also, speed it up until the second wave, and there we are. Here we go. The units on the field, looks like they're going to try to move past those Zargard immediately. But they're gonna take shots from Streltsy. Ooh, I did not notice that there was a hill like right there. Oh yeah, it's gonna make it difficult for you guys to fire at anything. Damn. I should have paid more attention to that. That's definitely my bad. That's on me. Not that the small amounts of pink cores are going to be all that threatening, mind you. Ooh, and now we got flamers on the field as well, also moving through and past our Zargard. Obviously, we don't want the flamers attacking because the Streltsy would take very much damage, but they're also quite fragile, and the Streltsy firing at them together with the armor-piercing tower and the Lord, or the Patriarch rather, are going to bring them down to very few units, and it looks like they'll dissipate before they accomplish anything. Oh, damn, some of the stray shots get a few of our Zargard in the back. Unfortunate. Man, with all these enemies moving through the center of these Zargard formations, I was hoping that the Streltsy wouldn't be clipping us all that much. Oh well, and ooh, we got some Doom Knights on the field. Really one of the coolest looking units. And they're gonna charge us in the back here, but we have more units where that came from, and damn. It looks like double sets of flyers, but then again, this also allows our Streltsy and our war sleds to shoot all of these units in the back, the Patriarch to charge them in the back and heal them if that is required. Now that is good, we're at 50%, let's check a few of the other locations. Boris and co are holding here, and we did summon some Zargard with great weapons, which we're going to use to reinforce, but I don't even think we need them. Boris and 2 sets of war sleds in a relatively close combat location, i.e. The portal isn't very wide here, unlike the other location. Means we probably won't have too much trouble. All those flamers aren't getting out of range of this. Let's check back over on these sides, though. Ooh, this I think is probably the toughest location, where our single unit of armored Kossars are, as well as a couple of units of, or 3 units rather, of Warbear Riders. Looks like they got charged by some Knights of Tzeentch, who, okay, are now getting destroyed, getting several units, and are also being bombarded continuously, or sniped, I should say, by that tower. They took a little bit of damage here, though. 14 units down on this Warbear Rider unit, and on top of that, they can't really be healed anymore. And they're stuck at half HP, and oh wow, these guys are having a really bad day. And just like the location with Boris, this particular place is a little bit too close, i.e. the enemy can't get through. And thus they're stuck, and thus they're gonna get wrecked. Honestly, going pretty well so far. We are at... Oh, you can't see the balance of power? You can't see how many units you've lost thus far? Well, that's disappointing. I wanted to see that. Oh well. Not a big deal, as this second crystal and the second wave is, I believe, conquered. Oh, we actually have a bunch of units heading in from wave 1, which I guess is a good reason not to necessarily have a bunch of units there. And oh, they actually got a Lord of Change on the field with that glowing LED bug, fighting our Frost Maiden here, as well as some Zargard, I guess. Nice little duel. I love that staff slamming effect. Oh, and I didn't notice that the LEDs actually change color periodically, too. Ah! And I'm blind. There you go, that's what you get. Alrighty, and with him done, the rest of those forces disappear like they never were, like they were illusion, perhaps. And there we go. With wave 2 complete, we are heading on to the third and final crystal, the ever-climbing crystal, which is where the Librarian will assault us from the fortress. And yeah, I think of all the maps, while I do really have a soft spot for the Khorne map, I think the Impossible Fortress, the decor takes it. Because that's pretty glorious, and I love the twisted path up here. Although it's a little bit on the nose, Tzeentch, but, you know, or on the beak, I should say. Huh, and there's like an eye here, and then is this another eye, or is it a vortex? Can't even tell. Anyway, once again, our little Groms are gonna do a little bit of work, and ooh, what the hell is that thing? Illusory rocks coming out of nowhere, or just crystals? Maybe this is how Tzeentch mines crystals. How you make Tzeentch money. Okay, I gotta stop watching that. Alrighty, how are we doing? The little Groms are still firing. I believe they're going to target the Lord of Change this time, who's going to move forward. Oh, wow, just knock back that cannonball right at the screen. Maybe the Lord of Change's skin is real bouncy. Yeah, look at that, it's doing it again. Interesting. Damn! That's real bouncy. Ooh, oh, huh. It's like fake ground here. I never knew that. I thought it would just like fall through, but it didn't. That's interesting as well. Anyway, you keep moving forward, Lord of Change, but as soon as you do, there we go. More little Groms are coming in, and we can see the Streltsy and the armored Kossars now firing at you, probably with the help of our war sleds. You have not taken a crazy amount of damage. You still got about half HP, so you'll certainly survive, but you're not happy about the situation. Oh, just as he got here, we used the Tormentor Sword to stop him in his tracks, together with the Screamers of Tzeentch, and he's now taken insane amounts of damage from that range, and he's nearly dead already, just as he drops down. On the bright side, this means less casts from the enemy. You know what surprises me about the Tzeentch mission? And I get why they didn't do this, because it would probably make it almost impossible for early game armies to win this without cheese. But it's surprising that these guys don't have access to the Tzeentch like abilities, right? Like that the oracles do, like the bombardment and the Doombolt equivalent and whatever else they cast. Maybe even summons of blue horrors would be nice, like the iridescent horrors can do. Yeah, so I'm just surprised that Tzeentch, in his own palace, does not have access, or not in his own palace, or just outside his own fortress, rather, doesn't have access to those special abilities, because the bombardments would really help here, wouldn't they? And obviously the same thing goes for the other factions. Whatever Nurgle does, and Khorne summoning bloodletters all over the place, and buffing itself up with attack and whatever else it can do, etc., etc., etc. Slaanesh's wouldn't be all that useful, I think, because the tier 3 just restores vigor and stuff to your army, doesn't it? So that one would be meh. But the ability to cause rampage and to stop a unit might still be quite useful. Every time I look at this, I marvel at how much I love it. Good job with the decor, Tzeentch. Anyway, we're headed to wave 3, so we're going to move up here, and we're going to speed it up once again. I'm gonna move some units just past that, and there we go. The capture occurred, and look at the bear summoning. You thought we had enough bears with like the 7 units that we had? We just summoned another 7 units, as well as an elemental bear. So our the sheer number of bears that we have is, you know, never enough, but you know, it's a lot better than it was. Alrighty, and then similar to before, everybody's gonna move to the edges, and here comes the enemy. Oh, huh, does Does Boris make a speech every time after that happens? I swear I just heard him speaking. Anyway, Librarian on the field now, and already debuffed, and oh man, he's glowing. Oh, I guess that was the barrier collapsing. Or maybe he cast a spell and it did something. But anyway, he's going to move in, but we are going to move our heroes in as well, and they're going to pop that Tormentor Sword and prevent the enemy from moving. Now this will help as we have both our little Groms firing as well as our War Sleds and our Armored Cossars all at the same time. In addition to that, with the advent of all of these extra bears, pretty much everything is blocked. Actually, not a lot of enemies have moved onto the field, but a lot of enemies have been blocked. And this time, unlike last time, I decided to go for the magical splash damage towers rather than the piercing towers, mostly because the enemies will be a lot closer, I think, and more likely to blob up. But yeah, with the sheer number of bears, everything's pretty good here. I wish luck to the enemy trying to get through the bear wall. We have a great bastion of our own, and it's made of bears. The Great Bastion. That doesn't really work. It somewhat works. Alrighty, Librarian landing among his pink horrors, but also going to be focused down by our little Groms continuously, and a little bit of lag from all the casts there. He's also going to be attacked by all of our heroes, including Boris and some Zargard, and he's not in a good position. It's unfortunate the fact that, well, for the enemy, I guess, in this particular situation, that they tower over our units so much with these larger models, because the Streltsy can just keep on firing while they keep on fighting. Ooh, a very nice animation, though. And I'm still jealous of that damn molten lava arm. I never could find it on the Demon Prince. And looks like he actually wants to go after our Frostmaiden this time, and he's doing a fairly decent job, as we can see. She's down to about, what, 30% HP? I, in fact, went for the gold upgraded armor, mostly to try to keep her alive, as this Librarian is probably jealous of the fact that we have a caster here. Or perhaps the Tzeentch forces understand that casters are the biggest threat, or at least they believe it, and therefore want to destroy the other casters. Actually, on the other hand, you would think that they would think a mortal caster would be so inferior as to not be any kind of threat at all. And their magics would then just be countered by the Tzeentch magics. But there we go, just like that, a little Librarian falls. It wasn't all that difficult, though he did hurt the Frostmaiden. The wave itself is now down to 50%, and the enemy is still having a very, very difficult time accomplishing anything here. We just have way too many units on the field and blocking everything. I do, however, wish that the game didn't essentially encourage you to play like this. It's a little bit boring. I would have really preferred something a little bit more interesting, like a field battle, perhaps, but with like islands. You know what? Maybe even like echoing the way that we got here with the teleport locuses, like several floating platforms, and your army or your individual units could like move into teleport locuses and swap platforms, all while being bombarded from various platforms by other Tzeentch units. Yeah, that would have probably made it a lot more difficult, but it would have also made it more interesting and not forced you to play like this. Plus, I generally prefer field battles. I mean, after you've done this, like, several times, you've seen enough of it to want something else, although I'm sure that such a teleport jumping thing would, you know, suffer the same sort of issue after a while. Alrighty, and anyway, we are at 9%. There are a few Doom Knights remaining on the field, but we're just about done. Boris is chasing the remaining units over on this side, and we should be good shortly. For some reason, there's a Burning Chariot here that decided to land, even though I think it has ammo. It has nearly full ammo. Wonder why you would land like this. Well, regardless, you're done now. So managed to get a hit in there. Huh, and it actually looked like it might have killed one of the Screamers, like, doing that. Or maybe it just knocked them back. There's still a few Doom Knights here as well, being all sparkly. Alright, Doom Knights versus Griffin Legion. Ooh, I wonder who would win one-on-one, a unit of Griffin Legion or a unit of regular Knights of Tzeentch? Like if they charged directly into each other. Although I think the regular Knights of Tzeentch aren't shock cavalry. I think the Doom Knights are flying shock, essentially, maybe? No, they're anti-infantry. and they're just flying cav. I think it would say flying shock cav if they were flying shock cav, are the regular Knights of Tzeentch. I think they're also regular cav, they're not shock cav, whereas the Griffin Legion I think are shock cav, yeah. I'd be interested to see who would win one-on-one. Anyway, the battle is over, the wave is down to 0%, and we summoned a lot of units, and we still managed to pull through. Alrighty, that was not too bad at all. 157 losses is very, very manageable in my opinion. Wow, you only get 3,500 gold for this? For all that, you barely get any gold compared to fighting a single regular stack. It's a little bit strange. I feel like I've made that remark before. Anyway, I've certainly gotten used to fighting that particular battle considering the small number of losses. I suppose everybody at this point has figured out that the best way to do the Tzeentch one is once again to just camp those gates or edges of the map where the enemies keep appearing on, and if the Tzeentchians can't engage you at range, they're not going to do too well in melee, which clearly goes to show. And we also got a pretty damn large number of summoned units. Also kind of interesting the fact that we're facing a largely ranged army, and there are barely any ranged units that you can summon. But oh well. Now in terms of this, I think... I was about to say maybe we can heal up, but honestly this is so little in terms of heals, but this is also very little in terms of money. You know what, I'm gonna heal, and the reason for that is if we pop out, and the rift that we went into is still alive, that would mean we would be able to go to the Forge of Souls directly. If it isn't still alive, then we won't be able to do anything. I guess we'll find out either way, but if we have to go immediately, then we'll need to be as healed as we possibly can get.
You belong to Ursun now.
How does it feel to face death like a mortal? Come closer, and I will show you. Know this as you fade. All of your struggles, sacrifices, your victories and labors were for nothing. I will not be so careless with your power. Kislev. Spare them. I am going to destroy them. They will waste their last breath cursing your name. Finally. Gods of Chaos! The God Bear is dead! Gather Ursun's power. Bind it to me. My godhood will be forged here on this throne. One by one, I will kill the gods and harvest their strength. All will be mine! All will be mine.
A new deity will soon ascend. Bellicor, the Chaos God of Shadows. But his transformation will take time. There is still hope, whilst Ursun's power is not consumed.
to Father Bear.
Trade gain impenetrable wall. Ooh, +5 free melee defense and some leadership. Will certainly take it. I believe. I don't think that Bellacor's plan could work. The thing is, when the Chaos Gods act in concert, and they sometimes do, they can, do very, very bad things to other gods, and unless I'm mistaken, this is what happened originally to Tzeentch when he got too powerful, when he came onto the playing field, and the other gods were like, no, 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 and then busted him down so he wouldn't be too strong and they'd be able to dish out the same sort of hurt to Be'lakor. I mean, clearly they did to him when he wasn't a god, but even if he became a new deity, I still think they would be able to just curb stomp him if they desired to do so, and I think they do, because he certainly has a grudge. But anyway, trade gained, trait removed, constant mutilation, lovely. Impossible Fortress, win the battle, done. The Realm of Chaos, now we get that corruption and the income from all buildings buff, which is going to be really handy right now.
We have the final soul required to illuminate the path of the Forge. Yet events overtake us, Great One. The God Bear is dead. He will roar no more, and reality itself can no longer be contained. Rifts tear through the veil, and demons flood the mortal world. This was always part of Bellacor's plan. He ascends to godhood. There is no place for us in his grand vision. He must be stopped.
I don't know, there might be a place for you in his Grand Vision Advisor, man, but anyway. Let's see. Alright, travel towards the Forge of Souls. Use a rift to traverse towards the Forge of Souls, then win the following battle. 40 turns to complete. The rifts are open, permanent tears in the mortal plane. Use them once more to traverse towards the Forge of Souls, for Be'lakor seeks nothing less than godhood. He will feast on what remains of Ursun, consume the bear's power, and ascend to challenge the ruinous powers. How dare he challenge my favorite powers. Now you have collected the 4 twisted souls. Unleash them within the realm of chaos to light the hidden path. A bridge of shadows to reach the Forge of Souls. Confront and defeat Be'lakor before he becomes a god. Oh, this one was Realm of Chaos, but yeah. Anyway, that'll give us the campaign victory, but the campaign ain't ending once we defeat Be'lakor, because I still think there's a lot of work to do, and I'm pretty sure there's still interest in this campaign continuing for a while. And I'll keep doing it as long as that interest remains. Lovely. So here's the question. Is the rift up? The rift does seem to still be up, which means we can go this very turn. And oh, the rifts won't actually disappear anymore. So wait, if we go right now, would Skarbrand be there immediately? Man, we have a plague, but I think we have no choice but to fight like this. If I can just click the game. Please, let's click. Oh, yes, okay, so we can indeed traverse to the Forge of Souls from this. Man, if Skarbrand wasn't already somewhere... Oh, he's not here, actually, right now. But he could be. I would be feeling like, what if we go to the Blood God's domain, kill Kairos, and then go to the Plague Lord's domain, and then kill Kugath there, rather than this? It might be worth quite a bit of money, but also, who knows where they are. And they're both in the relatively easy locations, too. Nah, whatever. Traverse to the Forge of Souls, enter Rift. And Skarbrand is indeed not here. Alright, so we beat him to it. He'll probably enter here next turn. Ooh. We could also camp here and kill him once he enters, but then we might be so hurt that it'll be difficult to deal with this. And then that's also turns that we probably don't want to spend here either, isn't it? Because, we want to come back as fast as possible because there's a lot of stuff happening up here. Alrighty, well, I guess next episode then, we're going to go straight for another one of these cinematic battles and go straight for the Forge of Souls. That will also, I believe, give us buffs. I'm probably not going to take Be'lakor, mostly because I don't know. Do the mortals also get offered to capture Be'lakor and use him as a lord? I don't know, but if they do, I wouldn't take him anyway. I want the buffs for Kislev so that we can get 2 more armies on the field, because I still want several different types of armies that we haven't gotten to play around with. 1, an Ice Guard army, and 2, a cavalry heavy army, with decent amounts of Griffin Legion as well as some other stuff. would be, ooh, we also got to get some elemental bears on the field, and yeah, more armies generally speaking. I'd love to fucking confederate you, but it's just not happening, is it? I'm still on the fence whether to confederate or not, i.e. via a mod. But anyway, I'll think about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle in the Realm of the Sorcerer, and just stay tuned next time for the battle in the Forge of Souls. Don't forget to leave a like and comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.